What's going on, everybody, guys and gals? Hope everybody's having a good weekend. We just got back from the monster trucks. Been hanging out with the kids all day, having fun, watching monster trucks. That's always a good day. So I don't care how old you are, how young you are, monster trucks is always fun. Anyways, guys, so the rebuild kit for the water pump on the Raptor came in. I've been waiting on this all week, well, since last week, to get it done. So we're going to get the water pump out, get it rebuilt, change the thermostat, and fill it up with the new Motul coolant. So excited about that. So let's do it. All right, here's the Vertex rebuild kit. It's got your O-rings, your bearings, your clip, snap ring, gasket, all that. Let's do this. Make sure the lock's on, boom. Stand it up. And if y'all didn't know, all jack handles always go vertical. Don't want nobody tripping over them, anything like that happening. All right, let's get to this water pump thermostat. So again, like I said in previous videos, right here, it's your thermostat housing, it's your bleeder valve. Right here's your water pump. We're gonna take all these bolts out, get the water pump out, remove it, rebuild it, excuse me, and then take this cover off, get the thermostat out, get the new one in. Once that's in, once the water pump's rebuilt, we'll put it all together, put the new coolant in, should be good to go. All right, everyone, getting ready to take the water pump, thermostat and stuff out. You need a 8mm wrench or socket. I've got the new Milwaukee. It's just a 1/4 inch impact, so it's pretty cool because you got 1, 2, 3 in auto, so you can control the torque. A lot of the new Milwaukee stuff, you can control torque. You gotta watch the big wrenches. Them things will shred bolts in an instant. So this one though, it's just a baby impact. It works great for stuff like this. You always want to be easy with all your stuff. Do test before you actually work on your stuff. So. I always like to lay my stuff in order, so. And watch your drain bolts, because they do have the copper washers on them, so don't lose them. We're going to change over to 6mm, and that'll pull your hose off. Be easy with those. You don't want to damage your hose clamps. Pull your water pump off, water pump cover off. Most of these gaskets, this one's been on here a while, so it's gonna take us a few. You just wanna get that gasket off. You don't wanna gouge it up. If you do have to use like a scraper or razor or anything like that, make sure you're very careful, because most of these parts are aluminum and you do not wanna gouge the aluminum up. That's the worst thing you can do, because if you do, that's the point of no return. So be easy taking off your stuff, especially if it's aluminum, like most of this stuff is. So got one more hose clamp up here. Just wiggle your cover back and forth. I don't know if you can see, but there's, you know, it's quite a bit of dirt and stuff in there built up. You want to clean always, anything that you're doing, you want to clean all of your parts. You don't want to, I don't want to cuss, but you don't want to half-ass everything. You want to make sure that you do it right. Clean everything good, brake cleaner, whatever. Watch your wire brushes and watch your scrapers, like I said. Just make sure you get everything cleaned up, looking like brand new again, ready to go back on. So we're gonna lay that there. We'll get to that in a minute. Oh, there we go. That popped right out. I don't know if you can see it. I'll show you here in a second. But you see how dirty those lines are, the hoses. So we're gonna clean those up too, get it all cleaned up. But be careful because your case is right there, it is open. Like I said in previous videos, be careful. You don't wanna mess that up, so. Here's your water pump. It's got your turbine. And over here it's got your gears. There's bearings, snap ring, and all that. So we're going to get to it and get it rebuilt. All right, like I said, I'll show you a close-up. So here is your hoses coming in. It's got quite a bit of dirt. This one's not too bad, but this one is. You see all the dirt and stuff around it. You wanna take a rag, put it on your finger, get up in there, clean all that stuff out really good, because we have flushed the coolant system multiple times. But just, man, treat your ride right. And when you work on it, do it the right way. Don't cut corners. Don't try to jerry-rig stuff. Do it the right way. And like I said before, I always take a clean rag. We wipe it out in here, get it all good and clean. We're gonna do the same thing. Clean these hoses out. Get this water pump rebuilt. All right, we're gonna work on the water pump. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a snap ring that holds the shaft and bearings and stuff in there. Let's come over here to our toolboxes. Let's lay this over here carefully. Got my icon. Snap ring pliers set. These are the external straights. So over here, let's get the water pump. These you don't have to try and do this one-handed. Get your snap ring snapped in there. Your snap ring pliers snapped in there. This is hard to do one-handed, so. All right. Squeeze them. Carefully remove it. Took me a second. Sorry guys, I'm trying to record with one hand and work on the other. So right there, these are external straights. So they already have the, it's probably like a 30-degree angle, but as soon as you squeeze them, it expands it. So once you do that, let's get a better look here. That's when your gears are gonna come off. You can see down in there, there's your stopper that keeps the washers in, that keeps the bearings in. So I'm gonna move over here to where I have a better work area. All right, everybody. So I don't know if you see it, the shaft has a pin. As soon as you take the gear off, snap ring off, gear off, slide it off, there's a pin right here. Be really easy with that pin. Set it there. All right, when I lift up, the turbine shaft should come out. There it is. There's your turbine shaft. You can see this one is really corroded down on the turbine side. Really corroded. That is way more corrosion than I thought I'd see. So that's all right. I mean, that's where the coolant stays most of the time, but y'all seen in the previous video the color of the coolant. So it has sat for long periods of time. So you definitely want to get that stuff cleaned up, and that's what we're gonna do. So slide these parts over here. Don't forget, on this turbine side, you do have these. You've got seals and O-rings on this side. Just be careful with those. If you got a rebuild kit, you just need to know how they go back on. There's a washer, which goes on top of the bearing. I don't know if these are gonna come out, especially one-handed. Let me get a better angle, guys. All right, guys, the turbine shaft is so corroded. So let's put it in a drill and something like that. And I hold the sandpaper right up against it. All right, so here's the cover. Pull the gasket off of that. Here's the rebuild kit again. Here's your spare bearings, washers, snap rings, O-rings, gasket. We gotta press these out, get these bearings pressed out, and then we'll put it back together. All right, guys, I got it over here on the press. Gotta be really careful. We've got a drill bit down there. I'm gonna see if I can pop the bearing out one side and then flip it over and do the other. But you gotta be real easy. You do not want to mess it up. You need to know what your limits are. There it went. Oh. It's real easy. It doesn't take a whole lot of pressure. You just got to be careful because everything's aluminum. My nifty little handle holder. Put 2 conduit straps up there. Snaps right in. So just pop it out that side. So we're gonna turn it over. Same thing. There's your seals in there. It's got to come out anyway, so I ain't gonna take it out right now until I get the other side out, just in case. It protects that right there, so I'm going to get a bigger one. Be right back. All right, I stacked these boards, got them closer to the press. And I've got a 12mm socket in there, so Always be super careful. So go get a 13mm. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. That thing was in there. As you can see, it's just a little, it's thin, like aluminum. There's your bearing out one side, that out the other. So we'll clean up this housing, brush it up, clean it up, get that all done. We'll get it back together. All right, guys, we got this shaft polished up. Now we've got to get this seal out of the turbine. You can see it. Just pop that one out. And then we'll finish cleaning down in there. There's a little bit of corrosion down in there too, so just gonna scrape it out, get it cleaned up real good. I'm gonna finish wiping that down, and then this is all the old stuff over here. This is all the new stuff. We've got the housings cleaned up, got the bearings, seals, your other bearings and seals. All this stuff's fixing to go back in. We'll get it back together. Sorry about the camera view. But anyway, as you can see, we got all this new stuff about to go in. All the old stuff's out. So, all right, we're back. Got the turbine shaft cleaned up. This is your seal. It's got a ceramic piece of, it's like a ceramic ring with a seal around it. We'll get that pressed down in there all the way. Gotta be real easy, you don't want to break it. We're gonna get these pieces, O-ring, seals, all this stuff pressed back in. Let me find a socket that's big enough. All right, so I've got a 26mm impact socket. It's gonna be easy. All right, on this side, you have your seal. It's got a little spring that's wrapped around the inner that goes against the bearing. So you just want to push it in there with your fingers. Set your bearing in there. I've got a 18mm socket. Make sure it's lined up. You don't want to get it in there cockeyed, so just be easy with it. Did most of it by hand. Did one little crank with the handle, but way I can check it out.
So he had come from the college ranks where traditionally in college you practice on separate fields, offense on one field, defense on one field.
Well, that's good. On to the next step. All right, guys, I'm gonna try to get this one. You gotta be really careful with this one because there's a seal that runs on the top of it it's permanent, so it's glued down. And you gotta be real easy. This is a spring. So I can't, I've tried every single socket that I've got. It'll fit around this, but then it hits this lip in here in this housing, in the water pump housing. So gotta be very careful. We're just gonna tap it in. Try to tap it in with this little extension. May have to get a smaller one. Try to get a smaller extension. Oh. Sorry about the sniffles and stuff. This weather is killing me. Hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. That's working, but I still need something better. Maybe I get one of my punches and just easily take care of it. Perfect. It's gotta be real easy. Better hammer. Let's see. I wish I had something that would fit over that, but still fit inside this little flange that it has in here, because I just don't like it. It's going in, but not the way I want. Let me see what I can find. All right, guys, finally found the solution. An inch and 1/16 standard socket. At least what I literally went through every single one of them. That's the only one that'll work. That's all we need. So let's be real easy with it. I got lots of softwood under it. Make sure this thing, let me line it up a little bit better. Sorry guys, I want to make sure this is perfect because you don't really get another shot at it. Let me set this board down. There we go. Perfect. I'm gonna press down on it one more time to make sure it's fully seated. But thankfully that worked because I've tried everything that would miss that flange but still get the Sorry for the squeaking, guys. It thing squeaks a little bit. Awesome. Looks good. So now we can start putting this thing back together. All right, so now good to put it all back together. Now we've got the bearing seal and then your other press fittings over here, your spring-loaded seals and stuff. So your turbine shaft goes right through the middle. Be easy. Let me get a little bit of lube to put on it. Just a tiny, tiny bit, because this don't want to mess the seal up. There we go. Beautiful. Took a little bit. I don't ever want to press too hard, so just gradually put it back on there. Carefully take your pin. All right, sorry guys, got me a little chair, make it a little better. Working off a box on the floor at the moment. I've got so much stuff on my workbench over there. My workbench is right now. Got my new metal table, but I'm building a new wooden workbench hopefully this week, so things will make it a lot easier. So anyways, all right, got the turbine pushed back through. Grab your washer, your pin, center it up, and then grab your your gear. And you can see, you'll see this side, this side it shows more of the inner casing, so that side goes down. Make sure it locks in on that pin and goes down. Look through there, you can see it's sitting right on the washer. So that's exactly where you want it. Make sure when you push this back together, put that snap ring on there. These things are so small. Pop out of there. These things are so hard to get out of there. Ah, there we go. Oh, dang it. Go. Boom. You heard the snap. Oh, yeah. Well, that's it, guys, right there. It's so got that rebuilt back together. It's got, you know, everything, all your new seals, bearings, etc. And we're going to put the gasket back on it and get it remounted, get the cover back on it. Let's do it. All right, got a gasket O-ring. These that are shrink wrapped in here are not that easy. You definitely don't want to touch the sealer of the O-ring with a razor. Be really careful. There's our O-ring. These things are so So I'm going to trace it out of there carefully. And it would have static. I don't recommend this, but however y'all got to get them out of here, do be very careful. I know it protects them, but can't even hardly get them out of the plastic. The cardboard backing is how most of them are, but I have seen some that just are loose, which they get messed up that way. So this is the safest way, but yeah, they just need to make it to where it comes off better to get it out of here. So there's our gasket. Got our O-rings. So I'm gonna set it right here. Double check everything. O-ring slides on over the gear onto the housing. You gotta really work it all back in there, so. Get the hose back up in there. There we go. Let me let this, let the four-wheeler down so I have better pressure against it. There we go. You'll feel it kind of lock back in there. It takes it a minute. Alright, we'll put the gasket on, put the cover on, and then we'll tighten the hose clamps. I'll be back in a few. Alright guys, I'll grab my mallet. It'll be real easy. I know I've got it all lined up. Just want to tap on it, the housing just a little bit. Holes are lined up. Be real easy with it. Let's get our cover. Real easy with this gasket. Let's get a couple of these bolts. No, this one down here is the drain. Let me see, I think this is the longest one, yes. just to keep that gasket lined up. Should be real easy. Carefully put the other rest of the bolts in. You can kind of look and see in the housing where each one goes, and they've got longer ones about every other one. We've done a lot to this Raptor so far. Still got a lot. We want to finish the water pump, do the thermostat, get the coolant added back in it, and then we've already did the oil plug, the case plugs, the oil filter cover. We've changed the oil, oil filter, spark plug. We've got so much more, and we've done the full exhaust. So. And just like anything else, wheels, lug nuts, it don't matter. Anything you do where you've got a bunch of bolts in a circle or some kind of pattern where you've got to put a bunch in, just work your way down with each one and kind of go around. You can do the star pattern. That is always the best option. You just want to get equal pressure on any of them. All of them need to, don't tighten them just yet, just work your way down. All right, they're all starting to get snug now, so just a little at a time. Now that we've got it pretty even, we can start going around in a circle now and just go to the next one. Snug, 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 snug. I'm gonna look up real quick to double check about the torque specs on this water pump, and then we'll put the drain hose on, put the coolant hoses back on, tighten the hose clamps, and then move on to the thermostat. All right, we're gonna put these hose clamps back on, and the torque's around 16, 17 foot-pounds, so. Let me take that back off. Sorry about the camera shake. I'm gonna swap around the hose clamp. Yeah, I don't know if anybody's seen previous videos, but I got this new neck mount so that I can use both hands, and it works great, but it does have its pros and cons just like everything else. So. Need the 8. I was already ready for the other bolts. tight enough. All right, I'm gonna get the drain hose so don't forget it. It's pretty easy to get back on. It's not pressurized, so it's pretty easy. But I went and got my smaller torque wrench. Let's go to 16. We'll do 17. The new gasket. Let's see, Newton meters. 17.7 inch-pound storage. Let's see, let's hold on. All right, it's about 200 inch-pounds of torque. So still seems a little high. I'm gonna turn it down so it's 190. I'm gonna go with that one too. There we go. Same thing, go on a star pattern. I want to check Newton meters. I don't trust this. Sorry guys, I'll be right back. Sorry guys, the wrench was up a little high, so you torque them about 4 pounds, about 48 to 50 inch-pounds. So yeah, these are all torqued good. All right guys, let's get this thermostat out of there, get the new one in, get those bolts back in, get the coolant in, bleed the system, be done. All right, so loosen up these 2 bolts. This middle 10 millimeter, excuse me, that middle one is a bleeder valve, sorry. I mean, 8 millimeters. These are all 8 millimeters. But that middle one is a bleeder valve. So you just take out the 2 top ones, lift this out and over. I'm gonna check it, look up in there. It's not too bad, it's clean up in there. So there's your thermostat. I'm just gonna pop that out of there. It comes out pretty simple. There it is. It does have a O-ring right here on the cover. Here's the OEM thermostat. I wonder why the OEM thermostat has a actual O-ring around it. I mean, that would make more sense. Same thing, NTC 71 degrees Celsius. Boom, boom. Yep, everything is the same except for this has a gasket, which I think they all do. See if it'll fit in there. Yeah, somebody's had this. Somebody's had that thermostat off there and did not put the gasket around it. That is weird. Well, glad we figured that out. We also have a new radiator cap for it too. So, man, I'm glad I figured that out, because that is strange that nobody put the gasket on there. All right, so there you go. As y'all can see, new thermostat. Get your 8mm bolts back in. There's not a whole lot of room to work on them up here, like everything else. So maybe that's maybe this thing is not supposed to have that on there, because it don't look like it's seating far enough. Let me check this old one again. Parts these days, I swear, doesn't matter if car, truck, everything is so different, and you get stuff that does not match. Okay. This one is, there we go. Let's go in right there. Okay. So yeah, see, that one sits down in there a lot further, because this cap has a big flange with the O-ring. So I don't know why this new one has this gasket around it, even though it does seat in there really well, but it doesn't go down far enough. Let's see if we can get it to go down there. Now, because of that gasket, it's not going to allow it to. So we'll just take it off. Now it fits properly. So don't ask me, guys. This is a first with that. Always something. Because here, I mean, I guess because of the O-ring up here, you don't need it there. This bottom one's the hardest to get to. All right. Same thing, just go back and forth until you get it start to get snug. You got it around the same, about 4 pounds of torque. Click, click, click. So let's see, we need to be on 48. Yeah, that's plenty. So that would be, there's 53. I think that'd be good. So, got the coolant lines hooked up, water pumps rebuild put back in, thermostat is in. Now we can add our coolant back to it, put our new radiator cap on, and we'll call it a day on that. All right, we've got our new radiator cap. It's got a thermostat built in, funnel. This old radiator cap is shot. Diaphragm, it's shot. We've already did the coolant flush in previous videos. We flushed it 3 times, so make sure your funnels are good and clean. This one's brand new, just got a little dust in it. And today we're using the MotoCool. It's a Expert Hybrid Tech antifreeze coolant. It's a 50-50 pre-diluted. We don't add water to this one. I have engine ice also, but I've been wanting to try this new Moto out. So just fill it up. We'll run it for a minute, and then just maybe a minute or two, and we'll just keep an eye on it, check it again, top it off again. But of course you don't want it to get too hot and then try to remove the radiator cap. Never do that. So you just want it to warm up a little bit, make sure all the fluids are getting everywhere, make sure you ain't got no leaks. Oh, well, looks like it's full. I don't know if it needs to burp. Yeah. Well, it doesn't want to open. Go a lot slower. Let it sit there a second, let it burp a little bit. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're going to loosen our bleeder valve here. It's got a copper washer on it. There we go. All right, it spit out the air pretty quick. Get this plug, this screw back in. It'll burp out any air pretty fast. I already put some in the radiator, so, and I'll spray this off at a later time, but always makes a little bit of mess, but at least the coolant's, it's bled out, so. Now we will put some in the overflow jug, and then just snug that down. Put that rag there. So now I'll go over here, put some in the overflow jug, and then top off the radiator. Let's see where the radiator's sitting. We'll just put a little bit to the low mark on the overflow. We'll run it, get it up to temp, let it cool back down, see how much it pulls in or pushes back out. It should pull in some, and then we'll top it off when that's done. And this thing is hard to get to. I wish they would have made it easier. I'm gonna take the take the bolts out of it real quick. Makes it a lot easier to get the coolant in there. Be right back. All right. It's two 10mm bolts. And then the jug just comes off. I've already took the plug out. Sorry about the camera, guys and gals. Like I said, I'm just going to fill it up to the low mark right now. It went a little hair past it, but that's okay. As long as we give it plenty of room still. Put your plug back in. Go in there. That's where everything on this four-wheeler is kind of swelled up. And this is easier. Let me put the bolts back in. I just wish they would have definitely put this jug in an easier spot for you to fill it up, you know. Draining it's easy, but filling it up is not. Sure my torque wrench is turned down. We don't need a ton of torque. Right. Now, get our plug. There we go. Plug's back down. It's sealed. It's just a little bit past the low mark, but that still gives it plenty of room. So I'll put a hair more in the radiator, let it warm up, then let it cool down. And I've got 2 quarts, and that's about what it calls for. So we waited a little bit when we were bleeding it, but it should be right at enough. All right, we've still got a little bit left in the jug and the quart, and then the actual jug itself still needs a tiny bit more. So after we get done with warming it up and letting it cool down, and we'll see where we're at. All right, guys and gals. Let's let it rip, tater chip. That new exhaust sounds amazing. You'll see some smoke and stuff coming off. That's the brand new exhaust we just put on it, plus a little bit of coolant that leaked down. Man, this thing sounds awesome. Sorry guys, like I said, we're gonna let it warm up a little bit and then let let the coolant, the thermostat, and everything work, do its job. Then we'll let it cool down. We'll see where the coolant level is at. That's about it. That's your water pump rebuild, your thermostat replacement. You've done the coolant flush. So hope you guys enjoyed the channel. Hope you enjoyed the content. Please hit that like button, give us some comments, throw it out there, and hit that subscribe button if you enjoy the content. So we're going to get better and better as time goes on, and we really appreciate all of y'all that tune in and support us. We've got big things coming for this channel, so we appreciate it. Until next time, see ya.